Facebook already has plans to hire 10,000 more employees to work on the metaverse alone in Europe. So kia ora whanau, welcome to That NFT podcast. I'm your host, Kieran Headley. Today we're speaking about Facebook's name change to Meta. Why did Zuckerberg change his name, or his Facebook name, to Meta? Why? Right, and so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what they're doing within that space of Meta and what's coming, and what he's announced thus far as of the interview timing, which is currently New Zealand time the 29th of October, which is US time the 28th of October. So it's very recent news, right? He did announce the change about a week or so ago, but yeah, it's officially happening now. Yeah, essentially, good old Zuckerberg has described this as the next wave of computing. It's basically a virtual it's going to give people access to a virtual universe, which is the metaverse, hence the name Meta. Where people will roam freely as avatars, attending virtual business meetings, shopping in virtual stores, socializing at virtual get-togethers, and doing all sorts of virtual things, right? Going to the virtual casino, going to virtual parties, going to a virtual Snoop Dogg concert, all these sorts of things, right? And that's actually already happening, by the way, right? Now, because of course VR is becoming more of a reality as well. People will be doing this with their VR goggles and headsets and things like that. So they'll start seeing themselves in the metaverse, and it'll just be, oh, sorry guys, I know that probably did a bang. Then they'll actually start to be more involved, and then eventually suits will come, right? Where they'll, just like in Ready Player One, where you actually be able to feel everything, you'll do everything, you'll be walking and everything like that, right? So you'll be really involved in the metaverse, and I'm sure there'll come a time when eventually we'll be able to transcend our consciousness into the metaverse, where we don't even need to pull on equipment, right? Because we'll have a chip in our brain that will instantly give us access to it, right? And that's just crazy. Who knows? It might even happen in this lifetime. It probably will, actually, at the rate things are going. Good old Elon Musk with Neuralink is already doing things like exploring chips in brains, right? They're doing it with apes already. All right, this is actually a thing that's already happened over the course of the last 12 months, where they implanted a chip into an ape's brain, and the ape was able to control a computer game using his own mind. So yeah, pretty cool. Anywho, what Zuckerberg goes on and says is, he says, from now on, we're going to be the metaverse first, not Facebook first. Facebook's going to be their secondary or tertiary thing. It's not even going to be their primary thing. That's a crazy thing, right? He also says, so the company's annual event focused on virtual and augmented reality. This was an event that he attended. He said that Facebook is one of the most used products in the world, but increasingly it doesn't encompass everything that we do. Right now, our brand is so tightly linked to one product that it can't possibly represent everything we do, right? He's been talking about how they're doing Facebook glasses, right? Similar to spectacles, similar to the way that Apple are doing glasses next year. So he's already been speaking about doing this as well. So they're going to be doing a similar thing, and it's just going to be literally the way that the smartphones have had, Samsung, Android, Apple, iPhones, right? Now there's going to be Facebook glasses, Apple glasses, and I'm sure Google will do their own glasses. But, Facebook's not the first to rebrand their name. The app's still going to be called Facebook, just like how Google in 2015 rebranded their parent name to Alphabet, right? Because they wanted to represent that they're more than just a search engine company. They also do YouTube and various other things, right? Various other technologies and, big tech that they're involved in. Hence why Alphabet. So similarly, as Google did in 2015, Facebook is doing now, which is crazy. So yeah, he talks about, good old Zuckerberg says, the metaverse is going to be a big focus, and I think that this is just going to be a big part of the next chapter for the way that the internet evolves after the mobile internet, right? Because mobile internet has been, of course, the most recent, in a way, variation of the internet prior to blockchain, right? Zuckerberg also told the interviewer that of this article that I'm just briefly touching on, is he also thinks that it's going to be something that they really double down on more so than anything else, right? So it's pretty interesting stuff. What I'll do is I'll link a couple of videos as well that you can get access to if you just go into the show notes of either the YouTube video that you're watching now or the podcast you're listening to. You can go to the show notes. You can find some links to some videos that Facebook has produced, or in other words, Meta, right? I should call them that now. And you can see a lot of the things that what things are going to look like, right? So in one of the videos, you sort of see how when you get into the metaverse, so you've just submerged yourself because you've got these VR goggles on, you are all of a sudden in space, right? And you're floating around in space and you're hanging out with your crew in space in the spaceship, right? And everyone else is wearing the VR goggles on, so everyone is seeing each other just as fully as you're seeing them. It feels like almost feels like you're actually there in person with them. So it's not just like the Zoom where you hold it out in front of you. Zoom is probably going to adapt this technology in such a way where you'll actually have real time, in other words, Zoom calls, right? Where you actually feel like, and you almost are sitting right opposite the other person when you're having the Zoom call. And it's like, wow, I can actually like touch you, but I can't feel you yet because that technology hasn't advanced that far. Then eventually that will come, right? So ultimately, this is how it's sort of happening, and you're sitting around a table, and then they're like, "Oh, Mary or whatever the girl's name is she's not here yet. We should call her." So they call her, right? And they've got her up on the screen. Then they press a button so that it's up on everyone's full view, so you can actually see her in person. And then all of a sudden, you're in her world wherever she is, and she's somewhere in California, I think she mentioned. And then she's like, "Hey, look at this thing on the wall that I saw." And then because you can decide to, since that thing on the wall has some sort of QR function, all right, or QR code function or whatever, some sort of aligned programming, you can then press on it and bring it out from the wall and do some cool things with it. You can go to different worlds, like you go to a forest. When you want to find people to message on your messenger, you just, on your screen in front of you, yes, you'll have a little digital screen in front of you like you do on games already sometimes, and the screen will pop up and you'll just scroll, all right, on the screen in front of you that's just existing literally in the air, and you tap, yep, I want to message this person, and then you can just send a voice note, type out something, press call, whatever, right? So these are all things that are happening. You'll be able to completely design your avatar the way you design your avatar for a game, but this will be your avatar for the metaverse. So you just show up in the metaverse, similar to Ready Player One, where you design your own character in that way. So yeah, these things are already happening in process. Now, I haven't seen too much in terms of when this stuff is happening exactly, but if you look at it like this, I mean, Facebook already has plans to hire 10,000 more employees to work on the metaverse alone in Europe, all right? Which is crazy. So 10,000 more people just to work on the metaverse on top of all the other people that are working on the metaverse part in Facebook, or in other words, in Meta already. So yeah, these are all the some of the crazy things that are happening, guys, in the world. And yeah, thought I'd just jump in really quickly so we could get some updates on that. But yeah, if you found that this was helpful, served you in some way, give us a subscribe or a good old like. That'll be very and massively helpful. A review always helps, guys. It helps us reach more people. And yeah, please do share it if you got value. I will share that we've got some updates coming up on the NFT investment company that my friend and my business partner and I have gone ahead and created. We're only working with aligned individuals, and there's a certain minimum investment number that we take on in terms of the clients that we work with. So look forward to more of that coming, because that's such an exciting space, and we are doing it in such a way where we don't win unless you win. So we're going to make sure that you guys win in terms of your investments and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm excited about that stuff. Now, remember, guys, this is not financial advice. This is just, although I never really mentioned anything about investments apart from that last part on this episode, but I still should say that for this whole show. Yeah, anyway, lots of love, guys. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day, beautiful evening, wherever you are in the world, and I'll speak to you soon. Ciao.